want to teach people about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's what we want to do. We ought to be a little tougher about it, right? We ought to market it like the people that do the Ultimate Fighting League, the World Wrestling Federation, your local drag strip. Monday at Georgia Tech, it's advanced linear algebra techniques. Calculate the pressure drop in your roommate's bong. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Bernoulli's equation like you've never seen it used before. It's Monday at Georgia Tech where the big nerds run. I don't know. All right, now I gotta tell you, so I'm an engineer, I'm the practical guy. I will not be as nearly as erudite as Brian was. We're very practical people. As engineers, we live by two simple rules. Number one, if it's broken, fix it. Number two, if it's not broken, fix it. And in that practical spirit, let me begin by picking on people in the audience. I teach at Georgia Tech, right? So I have a lot of experience at this. I pick on my students in the audience all the time just to wake them up. They get pissed off. They say, I think it's my job to torment them. I assure you that's not my job. My job is to teach them. Tormenting them is simply one of the few perks of my job. But here we have a nice lady by the name of Janice over here who's celebrating a birthday. Big round of applause for Janice. Yeah. And Janice, correct me if I'm wrong. Your friends told me you were what, 78? Yes. No, 62. That's really what they said, 62. And you know, I'm aging. I get depressed about that as well. The good news is, if you feel bad about being 62, just remember, in hexadecimal, you're 3D. Sounds more like a broad size, right? It's a little more friendly. I don't know. And I believe in Fahrenheit, you'd be 44.4. So, yeah, it's not so bad. It's not bad. All right, so what I really should do is talk about the fact that I do stand-up comedy all over the country. And people always wonder what it's like to have two disparate professions like that, right? College professor on the one hand, stand-up comedian on the other. Because in one of them, you're a joker, you're a clown. People laugh at you, and you don't get a lot of respect. And in the other, they pay big money to listen to you do stand-up comedy. You got any teachers in the audience? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We're not exactly appreciated. No, but seriously, whenever I do comedy all over the country, people always ask me the same stupid question. They say, are you really an engineering professor at Georgia Tech? Like, I would make that up. Trust me, it is not helping me meet the hot chicks, right? Because we know that guy, right? That's the guy with a Harley Davidson parked out in the parking lot. Because everyone knows what you call a guy on a Harley. Cool. And I thought maybe this could help me until I realized what you called a bald, middle-aged engineering professor on a Harley, organ donor. It's just not working too well. And so I want to welcome you to the night of STEM outreach. You thought it was comedy. Joke's on you. And STEM outreach is kind of tough. It's very, very tough. In fact, it started with the National Science Foundation, who first pushed that name, STEM. Believe it or not, the National Science Foundation didn't want to call it STEM. They wanted to elevate the importance of math. They wanted to call it SMET. I kid you not. There's an article written on this, actually. Luckily, we get the artistic people involved, and they said, well, let's call it STEM. It's a little bit better branding, right? And that's especially good now that we've added the A explicitly, right? We have STEAM, right? Believe it or not, one of my research projects at Georgia Tech is to take humorous improv and use it to catalyze technical innovation in engineering, right? So that artistic part is actually very important. So now we have STEM to STEAM. But if the NSF had their way, it would be SMET to SMEET. And it sounds like something you buy in an adult bookstore. I don't want to do any of that. I'll take that SMET to SMEET, but put it in a brown paper bag. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Let me talk a little bit about my research, right? So when I'm not using improv comedy to catalyze innovation, I do the computer simulation of synthetic and biological macromolecules. But here's the interesting part. These simulations are very, very long. They're very, very slow. So in order to speed them up, we have a very interesting technique. We play video games. Many of you probably suspected that's where your tuition money is going, but that's what we do. No, but seriously, we use the same NVIDIA graphics boards that your son or daughter that plays a lot of video games uses to make their representation in the game, their avatar, look really, really cool. And the nice thing is, each one of these boards can run 512 or 1014 independent processors. We've harnessed that technology. We can make our simulations go between 200 and 1,000 times faster. But don't get me wrong, I am not unsympathetic to the parents who have kids addicted to video games. I have a 15-year-old who's been in rehab for about the last 20 days. Do we have any parents like that? Yeah, you can't run away. And you do what I do, right? You open the door and you yell down in the basement, "Stop playing those video games, they're good for nothing." But now that we use them in research, maybe not true. But I am sympathetic because my son is addicted to video games. Here's how I found out. I thought, well, I should, embrace this technology, see what it's all about. One day I came home and he was playing World of Warcraft. And his representation in the game, his avatar, was a blonde, buxom woman wearing a brass bustier. I'm not joking about that. That's actually what it was. So I thought, this is going to cost me a lot of money in therapy. Until I thought, well, I don't want to judge, I don't want to impose any gender stereotypes on him. So I asked him, "Dylan, why is that your avatar?" And he said, "Dad, when that's my avatar, people give me stuff for free." So I'm thinking, maybe no therapy for this kid. This kid might be a genius. Because it took me, a good 45 years to figure that one out. I'm not nearly as bright. I don't know. But that really is the problem, is that we don't market STEM very well. We just don't do it very well. And, for example, the Barack Obama's administration was aware of the fact that people were dropping out of engineering. We have a big attrition rate in engineering. So they started a big campaign to keep people in engineering. They got the director of NASA, Paul Otellini, the former CEO of Intel, the dean of engineering at Georgia Tech. They had a big simulcast. They sent it out to about 20 different universities. The name of the program, Stay With It. That was the best they could come up with. I can think of a better one. Show them a salary survey, right? The data from 2011, engineers on average right at the top. Right next to them, educators right at the bottom. It's got me kind of depressed. But yeah, it's really bad. And it's funny, and I could probably tell you the reason why I think people are dropping out of engineering, but most of you would look at me and say, "Pete, we think you are the reason they're dropping out of engineering." But believe it or not, Paul Otellini in this program, the former Intel CEO who started this whole thing, gave us the reason why. He claims it's because industry is not doing a good job showing people that engineering is cool. And I agree with that. And I think the reason that's true is because engineers aren't cool. Right? Have you seen them on TV and the movies? We're never portrayed in a cool way, right? We never walk in like somebody cool, a secret agent like James Bond. James Bond. And my martini's a 4-molar aqueous solution of USB-grade ethanol. Shaken, not stirred. Or should I say subjected to a low-frequency reciprocating oscillation, not a high Reynolds number shape vortex. That's not going to work. It'd be cool if we were cooler, as we're portrayed in TV and the movies. I've got a good friend, Lou Lofton. He's the mathematician I work with on that improv stuff. He gives a lot of funny math jokes all over the country, and he wants to do a math talk like a British rocker. Because they're cool, right? I can only imagine that. Well, his Splash theorem was proved by Nigel last night whilst he was passed out on the floor of the loo in a puddle of his own vomit. He calls it the Poincare conjecture. Hit it. So that's not going to work. Now, for my money, the coolest guy that I ever saw in the movies was Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry. Right? So I teach a freshman seminar at Georgia Tech, and I always embody Dirty Harry, and I get a little carried away. Freshman gives a little attitude. I'll throw him up against the wall and say, "I know what you're thinking, punk. Have I used all 6 megabytes of memory in this graphing calculator, or only 5? To tell you the truth, I lost track myself in all the excitement. But considering this is the HP 98C, the most powerful graphic calculator in the world, you gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?" All right. Thank you to the old people. All the old people for laughing at that joke, right? Students, when I did that joke in class, they're like, "Who is Clint Eastwood?" I don't know. No, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough relating to the students because we're very different. We're old, right? Here's the best example of that, right? So my students, a lot of them work out. And I still go to the gym on campus, right? Because, I think that's important to stay in shape. But what they don't understand is when old guys go to the gym, they're like, "Old guys in the gym, what's the point?" But they don't understand that we go to the gym for a totally different reason than they do. This is a big, important difference between us. They go to the gym so they can get buff, and be recognized as attractive to the opposite sex. Us old guys, we go to the gym just enough so we can be recognized as the opposite sex. The bar is low. That's all I'm saying. If I get out of the gym without being tapped by the Carrboro Corporation to be the model for their new toy, Mr. Potato Butt, it's been a good day, right? But that's the thing, so I do a lot of imitations in class of old people that none of my students understand, so I thought I need to imitate some cooler people from this century. So believe it or not, last year I taught a section to chemical engineers on the BP oil spill. This is very important for chemical engineers to learn about. And I did it in the guise of Peter Griffin from Family Guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain to you this entire BP oil debacle. And the cleanup is so simple that I'm going to let Brian, the family dog, explain it to you. Well, Peter, we'd simply use hydrocyclone technology. he said hydrocyclone. That sounds dirty. All right, Stewie, I'm going to give you a chance to explain this whole thing here. Well, Brian, once again, you've proven that you can bowl the crap out of any technical audience on the planet. Remember this, Brian, you're smelly and you have fleas. All right. And of course they don't know Clint Eastwood, right? They can't relate to Clint Eastwood because we know him as a guy who puts a gun in people's face and gets really tough with them, right? But what's the last movie where Clint Eastwood pointed a gun at someone and threatened him? Do you remember that movie? Gran Torino, right. But what did he say when he had the gun in the guy's face, right? He said, "Get off my lawn." You kids are out here again with your skateboards making my sciatica act up. They'll be held to pay. All right. Absolutely crazy. All right, it's great to be out of the house, though, after the holidays, right? How many people successfully survived the holidays? I know I did. It's tough, right? You know, I survived the holidays because, believe it or not, I'm wearing the Christmas shirt. How many guys are wearing the Christmas shirt? Christmas fest, Christmas time, something like that? Right, the holidays are the time where the women in our lives get together and remind us that we are crappy dressers. It's just very depressing. Of course, I don't call it the Christmas shirt, I call it the gay shirt. And I mean nothing by that. Actually, this was picked up by my wife's gay best friend, and I'm grateful for it because my wife has horrible taste in clothes. Right? So it's always good to have that sort of thing. And a lot of my guys, they'll get the Christmas shirt, a little effeminate, just effeminate enough to let women know you're sensitive, that's a good thing. And they're all worried. They're worried because they think people will think I'm gay. Trust me, they will not think you're gay because you don't groom nearly well enough. That's the difference, right? My wife likes gay guys because they're good groomers. Heterosexual men, our idea of good grooming is spritzing our crotch with Febreze. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I think you should use it on your kids, your dog, your husband, everyone. That is a totally underused consumer product, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. I mean, think about it. Ladies, what do you use that on? Use it on the upholstery and the window treatments. By show of hands, how many guys even know what a window treatment is? I don't know. It sounds like something you pay extra for in the back room of the Claremont Lounge. I don't want to go into that, but when's the last time your window treatments came down off the wall, went out into the street, and rolled in squirrel guts? All right. My dog does that all the time, so I figured that's definitely going to work. And if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, us engineers and scientists were not very good marketers, right? That's why you have problems with things like stay with it. We don't market things well until now. Until the last few years with the appearance of my new heroes, the Geek Squad from Best Buy. Yeah. And if you think about it, that's marketing genius, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, these guys got the white shirt, the flood pants, the plastic vinyl pocket protector. I actually carry this with me wherever I go. People always wonder, do you wear this in comedy clubs? Of course I do. I wear it in comedy clubs because my plastic vinyl pocket protector comes completely equipped with the laser pointer. And I find that nothing says back off to a would-be heckler like a 5mm laser right in the eye. And it comes in handy. I open for a lot of big comedians, and I always ask them, Pete, were there hecklers in the audience? How can I tell where the hecklers are? I'm like, dude, it's easy. Look for the guy in the audience going like this. All right. Pocket protectors. No, I love the pocket protectors. I actually tell my students that not only does it keep you from getting that big stain on your shirt, in a pinch, it is the world's most effective birth control device. People are saying, no, I'm not suggesting using it as a condom, sir. That would be very, very bad. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, given that we're in an abstinence-only state here, and I believe in the scientific truth, is you walk in a room with one of these, nobody's getting pregnant. Nobody's getting a sexually transmitted disease. Nobody's getting a cold, for that matter. So it's not going to happen. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so back to the whole marketing thing. The Geek Squad at Best Buy, if you think about it, it's marketing genius. Because normal people like their geeks to look like geeks. It gives us credibility, right? Until they're walking up the front steps to your house and you're thinking, is that the Geek Squad I called an hour ago to fix my hard drive, or a Mormon missionary? They look remarkably alike. All right, and I will not apologize for that joke, ladies and gentlemen. I get a lot of friends who are Mormons. I love them. They're great people, right? But I actually told that joke in Salt Lake City, Utah. And there was a Mormon guy in the front row, raises his hand and goes, well, it's easy. You just look outside, see if he's got a VW bug or a bicycle. That's how you tell it. True story. Now, he was drinking a whiskey sour at the time, so I don't know how Mormon he really was. But I'm going to take him at his word. That's exactly it. And like I said, I have a lot of Mormon friends. They're beautiful people. They tell me that in their religion, heaven is where you're reunited with all your deceased relatives. And I think that's a beautiful sentiment. I believe that's going to happen one day soon. But I'm Catholic, so we call that hell. Very different. And here's the funny thing about that is, obviously, a lot of Catholics in the audience. It's like the group therapy section over here as well. All right. No, but we shouldn't apologize because the regular marketers are no better, right? The regular marketers give funny names to products. For example, I was in the dog food aisle a couple months ago, saw this giant yellow bag of Old Yeller dog food. Yeah. Didn't we shoot Old Yeller? It cannot be a good way to market dog food. Might be a good way to market the shotgun we took Old Yeller out with. Can you imagine that? Old Yeller, the favorite shotgun of Vice President Dick Cheney. And I don't care if you're conservative and you like Dick Cheney, that's okay. You're not going hunting with them, though. It's definitely not going to happen. Absolutely not. But then again, if you think about it, the whole teaching thing, right? So when I'm not doing research, I do a lot of teaching. And teaching is, it's a big challenge. And if you think about it, the one thing we've really failed at in teaching is something we've been trying to do for the last 50 years. Teach you, the American public, the metric system, right? And nobody likes the metric system, right? They can't stand it. It's very confusing with all those prefixes, right? So I do high performance computing. So for us, everything is a flop, floating point operation per second. Years ago, we were megaflops, millions of floating point operations. Then we were gigaflops, billions, right? Then we got into teraflops, trillions, and now we do petaflop computing. Quadrillion floating point operations per second. I love petaflop computing. The National Science Foundation loves petaflop computing. But if you love petaflop computing, does that make you a pedophile? That's what I'm wondering about. But here's the problem. After 50 years of trying to teach you guys the metric system, no one has embraced the metric system other than drug dealers. Right? They're all about the grams and the kilos and the grams, right? So, and we're so proud in the academic world, we don't want to swallow our pride and think maybe the drug dealers can teach us something about this. I'm willing to do that. I think if Mr. Rogers, when he was still around, had embraced this, he would have been absolutely brilliant. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in this beauty wood. Hello, boys and girls. Today, my friend Carlos from Bogota is going to teach you all about the metric system. Okay, Gringo Fred, sit down and strap in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay, good morning, children. Today, I'm going to teach you about the metric system. You have 3 kilos. You take away 1 kilo. You don't want to take a one kilo, but your friend Luis, he comes down the street, he says, hey, puto, you owe me 1 kilo. I say, you get that kilo over my dead body, man. Then he threatens to put an ice pick through your eyeball. So, kids, you have 3 kilos. You take away 1 kilo. How many kilos do you have? Maybe a quarter to a fifth, because we cut it with a lot of powdered sugar, and that's the metric system. All right. Great applause for the only openly racist joke in the entire act. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate that. So I'm going to finish that joke with an apology. I certainly don't mean to imply anything untoward if you are of Hispanic heritage. And I certainly don't mean to imply that if you are necessarily of Hispanic heritage, you're good with the metric system. You may suck. I don't know, right? And ladies and gentlemen, let me finish with this final point, and that is that for those of you that expected, well, Pete is a respected member of the educational and engineering community, we expected intelligent, erudite discourse. And you were disappointed because you got cheap, inappropriate jokes. Let me just remind you of the first rule of nerd comedy. And that is, if a guy with a PhD says it, it's not a dirty joke, it's educational. And that is my time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm PeteLudovice. You've been a fabulous audience, and you enjoy listening.